Everyone, it's Shar. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a very impromptu video. We are in the final days of May as I'm recording this. It is May 27th and I am in the middle of 4 books because I was trying to fulfill prompts for Escape the Readathon, etc., blah, blah, blah. The point is I'm in the middle of 4 books. All of these books fall into the spooky category, 5 books because of the audiobook I'm listening to. So for this vlog, I just kind of want to use it as a form of accountability, and I'm telling you that I'm gonna finish these books before the end of May in a few days, and because I'm vlogging it, it's going to happen. So let me show you the 4 books that I'm currently reading, and I'll tell you about the audiobook that I'm reading. So I'm reading Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. This is for Meg's book club, and you all know I love Kate Alice Marshall. It's about this girl who disappears, and like a year later, her sister is like looking for her, and in this town, there's this myth and this story about another girl who disappeared in these very same woods. And our main character starts to suspect that her sister may have fallen to the same fate. A little bit of like surrealism, magical realism, I think, going on here. I'm reading My Sister the Serial Killer. This is about a woman. They are in Nigeria, and her sister has killed 3 people, and she is coming to realize that her sister has a pattern, and these are not just self-defense things, as her sister has been telling her. I am really enjoying it, and for all of these books, I'm about 60 pages in. The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This is his newest release. This is a story of a woman who reads a book that is truly awful, and she leaves a 1-star review on Amazon. The author sees the review, and he's not happy about it. He asks her to take it down, and she's like, I'm not doing that. Reader integrity, and he has a problem with that. And she starts to suspect that she is being stalked. It's pretty camp so far, is what I will say. And this is a priority because the book club live show for Gabby's book club, the book troupe, is tomorrow, and I'm only 69 pages into this book, so I'm gonna need to finish this by tomorrow morning. And then finally, The Sanatorium. This is part of my goal to read my TBR down. This is a story of a woman whose brother invites her to this new chalet in, I don't know, Switzerland or something. And it used to be a like sanatorium. It was a hospital for mentally ill people, and it shut down and got converted to a chalet. There's just rumors about what is actually going on at this place, that it's haunted, and we have people who are disappearing, very much like closed circle, isolated mystery kind of situation. So those are the 4 books that I'm going to be reading, but I'm going to be honest with you, your girl is very sad and disappointed, and my mood is not great right now. It is a beautiful sunny day, so I am actually going to go to the bookstore. I am not buying anything. I just find a lot of comfort in looking around, so I'm gonna head to Book Off, and I will see you there. Before noon, and I stopped at Barnes & Noble because I really needed to be, and then I was like, I'm super hungry. Why? Because I woke up just before 7 a.m. and that was when I ate breakfast, and it's now almost noon, so it makes sense. So I went to the cafe in Barnes & Noble, and I just had like a sandwich, a juice, a cheesecake and a cookie. Obviously I did not eat all of that. It was a case of I was hungry, so my eyes were bigger than my stomach, so that's what I did. And the sandwich was truly one of the worst things I've ever put in my mouth, ever. It was quite horrendous. So I took about 3 bites of that sandwich and said, no. So instead I had my cheesecake and a refresher, and I'm honestly just walking. Book Off is right near Times Square, so if I like just turn around, you can see that behind me. That's the direction that I'm walking in, but I don't have any set plans. If the bus is there, then I'll catch the bus. If not, then I'll probably like walk to Central Park or do something like that. That's it. That's what I'm up to. Book Off did have so many good books. I read a lot of them, so I didn't pick anything up because I didn't want to, but I try to show you clips, and I realized that I couldn't show you every single book because that would be way too many clips for this video. But if you do live in New York and you want some like $1 books, go to Book Off, because right now they have so many popular books, even like $5.50. The most expensive one that I saw was of course The Soulmate, because that one's a new release, and that was $12.50, which is a really great price for the hardcover. And I saw The Maid, and The Maid was $7.50. Hits to you, tip to you. I don't know if it will still be there by the time this vlog goes up, but do check out Book Off. They always have a great selection of books. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say, so see you in the next clip. I am home, and I realized I never told you the audiobook I was listening to. So I'm listening to Stay Awake on Scribd. This is a book about a woman who wakes up or like finds herself coming to awareness in a cab, and she doesn't know what's going on. She literally has no idea. But she sees that on her hands she's written words, and 2 of the words are stay awake. And that kicks off our story. There's like a murder mystery going on. We have this whole aspect of the woman literally having no idea what happened. She's lost a big gap of time, and perhaps she's involved in the mystery. She has no freaking idea because she does not remember anything. Anytime she falls asleep, she loses all of her memories for a certain amount of time. So I am feeling kind of meh about it. It's narrated in part by January Lavoie, which you all know is like my favorite narrator, so I am enjoying the like voice acting in the book. But I also am struggling a little bit because this is dual timeline, and I don't like the dual timeline of it. It's like we're involved in the thick of it, right? We're in the present moment. She doesn't remember anything. She's completely lost and confused. We have the detective who's trying to figure out who this dead body is. Our main character just got a phone call, and it's super weird. I'm like, cool, we're in there. Like, tension is super high, suspense is built, and then it's immediately popped by something very, very mundane that happened years years ago in that past timeline. And obviously I know that it's connected, right? The past is going to tell something about how she got to this moment, and there's going to be some kind of twist, but the way that it is building tension in the present moment and then immediately deflating it is dampening my enjoyment of this book. So that's my update on the audiobook I'm listening to on script. Here's my update on The Last Word by Taylor Adams. So I just got to page 80 something, which is the start of our book within a book. And while I am enjoying it, I'm hoping that the camp kind of ramps up, because it needs to be very, very camp in order to make sense of some of the more like ridiculous moments that we've gotten. Not really ridiculous, but like, if you see my tabs, these like pink tabs here are like what I think is important to the plot. And then I have some other tabs that are noting things that I'm just like, that's weird. If it was this person, why wouldn't it be this situation? I'm suspicious of this person. I don't really understand the motivations here. But obviously it's all gonna come together, and we just got to the point where it's a book within the book, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm feeling very conflicted, very confused. I think I'm gonna enjoy this. I think that I am enjoying it. But the moment that it was revealed, I was like, that's a really obvious choice to make. Like a very obvious choice to make. I'm hopeful that I will finish this, but my goal for tonight is at least to get to like here-ish so that I can finish this tomorrow. I'm literally running to give you this update because I can hear people, and I think that it is my nieces and my nephew, and they'll be very loud. I just hit the 50% mark in The Last Word. I am enjoying it much more. We have ramped up to full camp, and this book is freaking hilarious. All of the yellow that you see here is me just laughing. I've laughed so many times. Taylor Adams has a very dry sense of humor, which I find deeply amusing. And I think like he's very self-aware in this, and that our villain guy is like literally just scum. And Taylor Adams is making fun of him so many times throughout this book. And then we have our heroine, of course, who is here, and she's trying to save herself, but she's also just really fucking funny. And we just got to a scene though where I'm like, ouch, that hurts, like emotionally. I hope that it's like some kind of deception to the reader and that's not what actually happened. While I am noticing some inconsistencies, it does in many ways line up with how shitty of a writer the author in this book is, which is just making me laugh. I am really enjoying it. I will tell you that the first part I was reading when you got my initial update is a little bit slower, still enjoyable, but once you get to the part where the book is introduced, it picks up a lot more. Like it's just constant page turner, which I am definitely really enjoying. At this moment, I see myself giving this book like 3 to 4-ish stars. But of course, it all depends on how it wraps up. And there's some very interesting commentary here about like people who review books and people who write books. And it's very much like tongue in cheek. It's just a pretty funny book. And I'm happy to say this does not scare me. I was terrified to read this book just because it has some things in here that I personally find very uncomfortable. But the more lighthearted, campy tone to this makes it so it's just like almost a slasher, but without all of the violence and the gore. If you're thinking that this book is going to terrify you at about the 60% mark, I can let you know it's not really scaring me, and you will have plenty of moments where you are just laughing. And because it is so camp, it is very easy to read and to have a certain amount of distance from the more serious topic of what is actually happening to this woman. I have finished The Last Word, and I've done with the live show for the book troupe, and I want to let you know that I'm giving this book 4 stars, just kind of like what I was expecting. I did enjoy this, and I'm really glad that I went in with the appropriate expectations because I knew this book was camp. And I wasn't expecting it to be like serious and absolutely terrifying, even though based on its premise, it absolutely has the potential to be that, but it is intentionally very campy and surprisingly pretty funny, like very dry tongue-in-cheek humor, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I gave this 4 stars and not 5 stars because there's one plot hole, which I'll talk about in a moment, or just like maybe not a plot hole, that's very harsh. Something I'm confused about and would like more clarity on. And because towards the end and at the beginning a little bit, it did drag, right? I was waiting for the story to start in the beginning, and there wasn't enough suspense and attention for me to be deeply invested in it. Like, the beginning had a lot of potential to be super creepy based on the fact that she suspects that she's being stalked. So I would have liked to see more of what led her to that conclusion and what things were happening in the house to build that suspension, build that tension, and then pop it with she was being stalked, it's her author. And the same with the end. After a certain point, we got to the resolution and there were still a little bit under 100 pages left. I was like, it started to feel like, but wait, and then this happened, and then this happened. And I was just here like, I know what the twist is gonna be. I know who our villain is. And I'm just like, we could have finished it earlier. That would have been fine. With that said, I still enjoyed the ending, and I think Emma is such a fun character. Now, feel free to skip ahead because for this portion, I'm gonna talk about spoilers. There is our killer, Howard, right? Howard is our stalking killer villain guy, and he's very upset about this 1-star review, so he's doing this. And the thing is, Howard used to live in this house. The thing is, though, there's this whole thing about a guy in a demon mask who had been stalking the perimeter of the house that Emma is like house sitting. And Howard leaves his home, like his childhood home, because the man is stalking him. He is getting kind of frightened of that. It's not good for his mental health and well-being, so he decides to leave the house months ago. And that's what prompts Jewel to get someone to wash the house while they're away, while the house is empty. Who is the person in the demon mask? It says that it was like a lie because Howard was just using that to set up his alibi for the whole plan that he had. But that's not possible because it happened months ago, and Howard isn't the one who told us this, and our other villain is not the one who told us this. It was Jules. Jules told Emma that her son left the house months ago because this person in a mask was stalking around their home and it scared him, so he left. What reason would Howard have had to tell his mother this before any of the events that led up to his ultimate decision to stalk and kill this woman? He didn't know her. He had no plan in place. That didn't happen. So who was the person in the mask? Who was the person who was scaring Howard? If you've read this book and you know, please let me know because I'm definitely overthinking that. But with that said, I did finish this book. It was 4 stars. I tabbed it quite a bit. I have a couple of options, of course, moving forward. I could finish My Sister the Serial Killer today, which is very tempting because it's a pretty short book. Like, the pages themselves and the chapters themselves don't have a lot of text on them, so it would be pretty easy to finish this pretty quickly. Other option is Rules for Vanishing, which is definitely chunkier, but I really do enjoy the audiobook of this, and I think that this could be a fun book to transition to after finishing The Last Word. And then potentially The Sanatorium, because it's a gothic thriller, and The Last Word was really, really fun and was super camp, but wasn't scary, and I think that this book will have some scarier elements. Hesitation here because it is mildly reminding me of The Guest List, and you all know I hated that book. So those are my options. I'll let you know what I decide to do. Hello, my darlings. I have made it to just before the 50% mark of Rules for Vanishing, and oh my gosh, this book is really fucking long. If it wasn't for Riley and Riley's reading sprints, I don't want to say I'd be struggling through this because I am enjoying it. You all know I love like a spooky kind of gothic atmosphere, and this is definitely delivering. But you know, I might be pushing myself to read this a little bit faster than what I would normally read, and I don't mean it to say that like I'm missing the plot at all because I'm still reading at a pace that is completely comfortable for me, but maybe I would take a little bit more time with this book. But I really want to start Fourth Wing, and a bad habit that I'm trying to break is me starting books and not finishing them. Rules for Vanishing is the story of this girl. Her sister disappears, and she starts to believe, due to the messages her sister has left, that her sister has disappeared in this kind of supernatural game that people in their town play. There's a lot of lore behind it, and I am really enjoying it, but I'm also waiting for like some crazy things to happen. Although I think the crazy things are happening and like my senses are just kind of numb to them. It is how I'm feeling. So I'm gonna try to make some more progress in Rules for Vanishing. Honestly, I think the main thing that I'm struggling with is that not a lot really has happened. I'm just like, I want more action. I want more things to happen. Someone get murked. I need some kind of entertainment. But honestly, every single live show that I join is all about Fourth Wing, and everyone's reading Fourth Wing. And I'm just like, I want to read Fourth Wing. But I refuse to start another book until I finish at least Rules for Vanishing or one other book, because then I'll only be in the middle of 3 books as opposed to in the middle of 6 books. It is the next day. It's the afternoon. I don't know why I'm still wearing these headphones. I was listening to sprints, but I have finished Rules for Vanishing. The audiobook is a really good audiobook, very well produced if you want to listen to that. Ultimately, I'm giving this 3.5 stars. I didn't have any strong feelings about it at all. Yes, there are moments here where I'm flagging plot or suspicion, but ultimately I don't care. I don't care. And the reason that is because we as the reader get no time to know these characters at all. I would struggle to name 5 facts about each one of these characters. So when we would get to things of moments of high tension or fear or the character was in danger, I was ultimately I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I think the characters who had a very interesting backstory were Trina and Kyle, because something major happened before they end up getting on the road, and I would have loved to see more of that. But my feelings are met. I did not care. It was an enjoyable book for what it was, which is why it was 3.5 stars. And I also realized earlier in the year, I read Our Last Echoes, because Our Last Echoes makes absolutely no reference to Rules for Vanishing in the summary. It's kind of like a if you know, you know situation. Those 2 books are connected. And because they're connected and there are hints and mentions here, I kind of got a sense of maybe something's going on. I don't know. Ultimately, I'm disappointed. My expectations were too high. But I'm going to read The Sanatorium next in the hopes of genuine fear, because not one book has scared me or given me genuine fright in this video. So let's see if The Sanatorium can do that, although I doubt it. Very sure that you actually can't hear me, but it's been several weeks. I'm at the movies. I'm about to go see The Little Mermaid, which I'm so excited about. And it's really fucking hot, but the movie theater inside is cold, so I'm wearing this sweatshirt. Well, I just saw The Little Mermaid. I loved it, obviously. I'll tell you, The Little Mermaid has never been my favorite movie. I've never liked it, but the live action, loved it. Such a fun time. And because I didn't even tell you, I got the AMC movie pass, so I get to see 12 free movies a month. I might watch it again, which is gonna be so freaking fun. Good morning. It's editing me. You'll see me again later in this video. As I was editing this video, I realized there's an entire clip, a long clip missing, where I'm telling you more about Stay Awake and why I decided to DNF it. I can't find that clip. I don't know where it went. It's not in my deleted. It's not anywhere. It's just mysteriously vanished. So the reason why I decided to DNF Stay Awake by Megan Golding is, number one, I found that the audiobook narrator, not January, I love January, but the other one was very, very, very dramatic, and that deterred my ability to enjoy this story just because everything was dramatic. And when everything is dramatic, that means I can't easily identify the moments of tension, because girl, why do you sound frantic when you're eating a salad? I don't understand. Second thing is, I just couldn't get behind it. It didn't make any fucking sense to me, because this woman has a condition where she forgets everything as soon as she goes to sleep, which is why she doesn't like to sleep. But the thing is, there are people in her life who love her and care for her, who know that she has this condition. So why would they let her go fumble around New York City like a chicken with its head cut off when she comes to them and she's confused? In addition, she always writes on herself, stay awake, I forget everything when I fall asleep. We hear that so many times throughout this story. It quite frankly irritated the absolute shit out of me. But why wouldn't she write something more helpful? When she was in that conscious state where she knows that she has this condition, she's fully regained all of her memories at that point, why would the only thing that she would write on her hands be stay awake? A very cryptic message that continuously leads her to a heightened state of panic. Why not write down the number of someone who can help her? It can just say such and such, this number at this address has the answers. Why wouldn't she write something just more useful to her? Why something so cryptic? In the end, I just did not care enough to continue with this book. And so I DNF'd it at like the 40% mark. Is it more than 4 weeks later? No, but it's almost 4 weeks later, and I just finished My Sister the Serial Killer. Y'all, I've been in such a fucking reading slump. This is literally the first book I finished all month, and it's because I had less than 100 pages left. It's a very short book. It's 223 pages. I really enjoyed this book, though I do find the ending unsatisfying. I understand like how she got to that point, but I just wanted like more drama. But I love this. I love the writing style of this, and the whole premise is so intriguing to me. And I would love almost like a sequel of where this ends up going, because I can't tell you how it ends, but I can tell you that a sequel could be very interesting so long as we got some more exploration into how this goes. One of the men in here really fucking annoyed me, and I was like, and I'm not saying he deserved it, but it's a fictional book. So we'll leave it at that. The other book I wanted to read was The Sanatorium, which I still have here. I'm not sure if I'm 100% out of my reading slump, but because this vlog has been going on for literally weeks, I might have to end it soon. So I'm gonna see how I feel later today. And if I decide to read The Sanatorium, then I'll give you the update for that. And if I decide that I'm still kind of slumpy, then I will see you for the ending of this video. Hi, it's editing me. It's literally the day that you're watching this video, and I wanted to let you know that obviously I don't read The Sanatorium. I decided that I was still in too much of a reading slump to continue with it. So I wanted to wait for the right mood because I thought that would be more fair. But as always, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you being here. If you have made it to the end, could you leave a little green heart for My Sister the Serial Killer in the comments? Just because I'd love to know who got here, and subscribe if you would like to, and I'll see you in my next video.